that technique that I'm using with my right hand, I call it a palm stop. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but it's a great technique, and what it does for you is it brings in a lot more dynamics to your playing. Specifically, gives you the sound of a snare drum from a drum set. Okay, now this is really important, because if you're the kind of person that plays a lot of solo shows and it's just you and an acoustic guitar, and you're only playing kind of chord stuff, you want to have more control over more dynamics to raise and lower the feel of what you're playing, and raise and lower the energy of what you're playing. Okay, so a palm stop can really raise the energy and give you a beat behind your music when there is no drummer there. So let's take a look at how to actually do this. What you're going to be using is, you're going to be using the palm of your strumming hand. You're going to be slamming it down actually onto the strings of the guitar. Okay, you slam it down hard enough that you get that sound. Okay, now there's a second part to it that makes it louder and makes it sound more like a snare, and we're going to be using the pick. Okay, so the pick is actually at the very same time that you're slamming your palm down on the guitar, you're going to be doing a muted strum. Okay, so it's not going to be a full strum because our hand is not going to be free, it's going to be slamming down. So we have to do, it's going to be picking about 2 or 3 strings, okay, at the same moment. So this is tricky to line up. It's going to take practice. I always have a hard time teaching this to students because of the fact getting the palm and the pick to hit the strings at the same moment is very difficult. So don't give up, keep trying it, nice and slow. A good way to learn this would be to learn a song or 2 or 3 actually with the technique in it. So Jack Johnson uses this technique a lot. That's actually where I picked it up from. His song "Sitting, Wishing, Waiting" is a very popular one that uses it. So I recommend learning that song. So this is how he uses it in that song. The actual palm stop itself is a hook of the guitar riff for me. Okay, so without that in there, it's not the same at all. So take your time, learn that palm stop. Other guys that use it, Ed Sheeran used to use it all the time before his albums got super poppy. His guitar style was very aggressive and a lot of palm stops. John Mayer, his acoustic stuff, you can hear palm stops. Of course, any Jack Johnson. Those are the first 3 that come to mind. A whole bunch of guitar players use it now. A whole bunch of acoustic guitar players use the palm stop. Okay, so if you're a fingerstyle player or a finger picker, using a palm stop can work for you as well. Of course, without a pick. And what you're going to do is you're going to be using the same fingers that you're picking with, and they're going to be slamming down on their assigned strings. Okay. And then you can also add the palm in too if you want. So what do I mean by that? When you're finger picking, what you do is you generally assign fingers to certain strings. Okay, your thumb normally gets the bass, the E, A, and D, and then your other fingers are assigned to other strings. So if we're playing something where we're using the A, the G, and the B, for example, well, we keep our fingers assigned to those strings. We play our notes, and then we slam down onto those specific strings. Okay, now you might not always get 100% accurate with it, but you'll be close, and it's important because you're probably going to be picking directly after the palm stop to keep that rhythm flowing. What you don't want to happen is you don't want to do a palm stop like this and then your fingers are nowhere near where they need to go. That takes too much time. So make sure that they're going exactly where you want them to be next. And the same thing is going to apply if you're using a pick. Okay, so if you're using a pick and your next strum is going to be down, well, make sure it doesn't end up down here. Okay, once you're complete. Now the opposite is true. If you're playing something more like a reggae style, where you do a percussive hit and you need to do an upstroke next very quickly, make sure your pick ends up down here. So there's a few ways that you have to look at this. You have to figure out what is going to be happening next. Okay. Now a palm stop by itself can bring a lot. It can bring a lot of dynamics to your playing. But if you learn multiple different techniques for developing dynamics, palm muting, right here with your I guess the palm of your right hand or left if you're a lefty player. Left hand muting is also important as well. And then right hand muting by stopping strings at certain times can help. If you can combine all of those different styles together, you can really control a lot of your dynamics. And those are all of the techniques I was using for the opening little song that I made up here to show you the techniques. Once you get good at that, start bringing in single notes. Okay, and then of course there are other techniques that you can use, but those are great things to start with.